everyone, my name is Faith, but you may call me Unmei. So, we reached 9K subscribers! This video was originally supposed to be for 6K subs a month ago, but you know me, always being fashionably late. So I promised you guys that I would draw your OCs, and honestly, it was really hard picking just 2 to do for this video, because everybody had such good submissions and I wanted to draw them all. But don't worry, if I didn't get to your OC in this video, you do still have a chance to have yours drawn in a future one. Alrighty, so as for the ones I did choose for this video, up first is the lucky Kazoo Mom. Fantastic name, by the way. Their OC is Yugean. I'm too white to pronounce that name properly, but I tried. So for this OC, I wanted him to be putting his hair up into a ponytail. Because he has such long, luscious hair, we gotta make it the focal point. Right now, we're just sketching out the pose of the reference, putting in those eyes, and once we have our base down, we could then start adding in the hair and more of the recognizable features. Like adding this thing in. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. Maybe it's like a fin on his ear, or an ornament on his ear? Smexy Merman confirmed? Actually, yeah, he's confirmed to be a serpent from the world of painting and canvas. That's a pretty cool concept. Wait, so does that mean I'm making art of art? This is getting too meta, bro. Whatever, let's just draw in his clothes before I have an existential crisis. Alright, the sketch is almost done. Now it's time for the thick line art. Let's put some lashes at the bottom of the eyes there. So we're gonna make his forehead nice and steep because men tend to have steeper foreheads than women. Unless you're Megamind, but that's a special case. You know how characters in manga will sometimes have black right under the jaw? Yeah, I like to do that because I'm a weeb. Okay, we're gonna do the luscious hair now, and then the top of the head there. And then I'll cry a little bit as I try and draw this hand. But you know, crying actually lowers your cortisol levels, so it's a good thing, right? Let's make the hair fall over his hand like a delicate waterfall. Then we're gonna jump right into the colors, baby. Let's color in that fin thingy-malingy and the jewelry. Use a nice dark navy blue for the eyes. And I always like to airbrush on a simple color for the lips. Add that stripe on his kimono, yukata. I don't really know what it is. Oh, I think it's supposed to be a hanfu, actually. Not me being a culturally ignorant American. And with that newfound editing knowledge, I don't think I did it very accurately, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, I'm adding some color to his face now. Shade in the eyebrows. And we have to add some eyeshadow because he's a baddie. So the fingers are always going to be a little bit more red because there's a lot of blood vessels there. Alright, we're finally actually shading the skin. We're just taking a nice peachy tone and going over the areas where the light doesn't hit. We also have to use the lasso tool for the hair because it's just tradition at this point. I'm not allowed to ever use anything else or it's a sin. I also want to add some nice texture into his clothing. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Now we just have to add some more depth into the shadows. So mayhaps I added the scales on his skin separately off camera because I'm kind of lazy like that. And more deepening of shadows. It's super interesting, I know. Okay, so here's the time lapse for the rest of the drawing because I just was too lazy to record most of it, okay? I'm being completely transparent here. But at the very least, you can see the full painting as I'm creating it instead of me zooming in and out constantly, giving you a horrible headache. So actually, you guys, you can let me know down in the comments if you like this editing style better or if you like the more fast-paced version I usually do. Anyways, because this OC comes from the world of painting, I wanted to put some painterly strokes on the canvas, kind of make it look like he's in a watercolor painting a little bit. I also played around with the idea of little water drops flying around. I just really went ham on the whole watercolor thing, didn't I? I just thought that the concept was so cool, okay? Can you blame me? And yeah, I really played around with the colors of the background a little too much, but you know, it was kind of fun. Okay, so here's the final piece. What are your guys' thoughts? Is it bold and brash, or does it belong in the trash? You let me know. Alrighty, on to the next OC. The next one is from my amazing friend, loyal patron, and Twitch streamer, Akibun. This is her persona, Ainseie. Isn't she so cute? Supposedly, she's a bunny fox hybrid, which is just peak adorable. I had to give her a sassy and enticing pose because she got them assets, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I'll see myself out after that. But actually, I don't draw this type of body too often, so this is kind of a nice change. Alright, let's draw her eyes in. Make sure I don't forget that little choker and those little star freckles on her face. I think I'm gonna tweak the pose a bit later, but let's just do the hair for now. Place that big cinnamon roll on top of her head. Struggle with the pose and anatomy more, and more, and more. I kid you not, I struggled with this for a solid 45 minutes. Now we have something kinda decent going. So let's start lining. I don't know why, I find it kind of therapeutic to line eyes and like the lashes. It just hits good, you know? Like a really moist cupcake that makes you tongue-gasm. Okay, my analogies are all over the place today. I gotta stop. Unless I really want this to be my digital footprint left behind for all of humanity to see and look back on. Anyway, let's just focus on this booby floof. It's really fun drawing the floofy stuff. I don't know why. Time to line her cute hair. I'm not sure why I went for a mixture of straight for the bangs, but then kind of curly for the bun part of her hair. It's like she straightened the front part of her hair, but then just kept the back natural and untouched. Now that I think about it, I guess that is a look. It's what I do when I'm just too lazy and to get out of the shower. I hope that everyone will think it's intentional, but really it's just because I don't want to straighten the rest of the hair. Alright, it's time for color. Do any of you use adult coloring books? Because I imagine this is what it feels like. With different colors, I feel like this top would definitely look like a Santa costume. Just in time for Christmas. Boy oh boy, I can't wait to get my lump of coal from Santa Claus. Because I'm bad and I keep coping Coolene. Stop coping Coolene! Anyway, let's shade in these eyes. Let's make sure they're nice and detailed. So I recommend airbrushing over your hair before you start shading it in because it really helps with the volume of the shape. Speaking of volume, okay, I'm just kidding. Everybody's gonna at me in the comments and be like, you don't respect women. It's precisely because I respect women that I have to say these things. If she slay, she slay. I mean, she obviously worked really hard for that bod. I gotta give her some kudos for it. Let's use the lasso tool for the hair cinnamon roll. That way we can achieve these nice jagged shapes. I'm gonna add some texture in by just using a soft brush. I honestly can't remember if I made this brush or if I downloaded it free from somewhere. But really, if you just Google soft hairbrush free, then you'll probably find something that's perfectly similar to it. Time to add in this black rose tattoo that the character has. Ooh, psych! This is just a placeholder until I find a Google image to put there. Cause I ain't doing all that. Alright, let's add in the satisfying highlights to the hair. Yeah, we're doing this part with the lasso tool as well. Cause if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what my grandpappy told me out on the farm. And then we set the eraser tool to the airbrush so that we can just erase away at the top and bottom part. Creates a really nice fade-in effect. Time to go to my side chick Pinterest to find this starry galaxy texture to put into the foxtail and the rest of the outfit. Oh, and the bunny ears, of course. There's a little constellation pattern on the ears too, so let's make sure to add that in. And copy and paste it to the other side because I'm lazy. And slap a nice bloom effect on it. Let's shine up those nails and the Cinnabon. Also remember to add some bounce light on the character to make it really pop. Let's juicify those lips. Shade in them twofers. And we can't forget the star freckles. Alright, we're almost done with the drawing. All that's left is to add some finishing touches and a background. But before that, maybe consider subscribing to my Patreon, where you'll get videos of my painting process, full res files of my art, emotes, Discord access, and specially made tutorials just for you guys. Alrighty, it's time to unveil the final drawing. Ta-da! Here she is in all her glory. What do you guys think? Did we fly her to the moon, or did she crash land in a black hole? As usual, you let me know. And once again, thank you so much to my wonderful subscribers. You mean more to me than you may ever know. Please be sure to give this video a like and maybe comment and consider subscribing. That's all for now. Bye bye!